but June already had the correct change in euros. The man seemed to find this exhausting. "Have Harry stole," said June sweetly. Heaving her bag back onto her shoulders, she made her way up the pathway behind the kiosk. At the gate, a guard with a twinkle in his eye tore her ticket. He made a joke she didn't quite understand as he handed it back to her. June could ask for food and drink and hotel rooms fluently, but she wasn't up to flirting. She just smiled at him, tolerant but not encouraging, and continued on her way. In just over 2 hours, she'd be on a train heading back to St. Pancras. Why did men only ever show an interest when it was too late? The path led her up to some steep marble steps, the ancient remains of an impressive entrance gateway. June climbed the steps, her heart pounding, not with the effort, but with anticipation. High above her loomed the propylaea. The marble blazed white in the early morning sun. She reached the top of the steps and halted. Before her, up the gentle rise of bare rock, stood the Parthenon, the ruined, sun-bleached temple that had overlooked Athens for 2,500 years. June gazed at it in awe, despite having seen it 3 times in as many days. Again, she let her eyes pick over the details, her brain alive with all the history and myth she'd gleaned from her reading. The Parthenon had been built before the invention of the load-bearing arch, so the huge, tall columns had to jostle close together to hold up the roof. Not that there was a roof anymore. It had been destroyed in an explosion of gunpowder in 1687. The temple's vivid sculptures had then found their way into various museums and private collections. These scant fragments, scattered around the world, gave a tantalizing glimpse of the ancient people who'd once lived and worshipped here. But like a jigsaw with half the pieces missing, only a small part of the picture remained. Students like June used the hodgepodge of remaining fragments to guess at the distant past. The temple and its sculptures would have been painted in bright colours, the air alive with scented smoke and music. To the left of the temple would have stood an enormous statue of Athena.